everyone, welcome back to the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel. So today we are going to be talking about food waste. Food waste is a huge issue. Americans on average waste 50% of the food that they buy. In the UK, that is over 900,000 tons of food waste a year. If you weren't wasting food, you would on average be saving 60 pounds or $75 a month, which is almost $1,000 a year. And beyond just being really bad for your wallet, throwing away food into the landfill is really, really bad because there's not enough air to properly aerate it for it to decompose. So instead, it just releases methane, which is 20 times more powerful than your average greenhouse gas. So it's really, really bad, and it's a lot of money. So what are the main culprits of food waste? It's improper storage and not properly utilizing your freezer. Also, not fully going into the grocery store with a plan. So sit down for about 5 minutes, make a rough meal plan before you go grocery shopping. You can get all of my tips for making a 5-minute meal plan linked down below because I've got a really, really great blog post on that. So some of the most common items to go back quickly are greens. This is how I store my greens. So I store them in a glass container. You could use a mason jar or a mixing bowl, anything that has an airtight lid. Airtight lid, a glass container, and you put your greens in here. I chop mine how I want them for salads, and then I place them inside so I can quickly just grab them and go. And then you're gonna wanna place a tea towel or any sort of cloth to absorb moisture because the enemy is air and moisture. I would say just change this out every couple of days. It'll start to feel kind of damp, it means it's not doing its job. So place it on top of your greens, or you can even surround your greens with it. That works too. Place the lid on, keep it in your fridge, and then you're good to go. Another really common thing are carrots. Carrots go bad really, really quickly when they're laying horizontally, so you want to keep them upright. Also, it's really, really nice to keep them in water because that will keep them super crisp. I just put this in the door of my fridge. Bananas. Bananas are another thing that brown really, really quickly. So how do we prevent them from browning so fast? Typically buy them like this. You buy them in a bunch. So you're gonna wanna take them out of the bunch and lay them separately on your counter. This will prevent them from browning too fast. And if they do brown, I've got a really great recipe for banana muffins on my blog. Really delicious. In fact, Justin likes to hide bananas until they're really brown and then pull them out and be like, oh no, what are we gonna do with all these brown bananas? And I can't stand food waste, so I make banana muffins. It's a really, really great way to make me make you something. And for other things like herbs or green onions, a lot of things can be stored like flowers. Just store it in water in a jar, place it in. You can already see the regrowth happening on this. There's regrowth on both ends. So this is a really, really great way to store your produce too. So what happens if you buy some stuff with the best of intentions and it starts to get kind of wrinkly and you're not ready to use it quite yet? This is where utilizing your freezer is really going to come in handy. So I have got a baking tray here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop this however I need to use it. So I'm gonna chop these mushrooms, or I guess I should say I'm gonna slice these mushrooms. I'll do this on the cutting board. I'm gonna slice these mushrooms exactly how I wanna use them. So I like to use mushrooms in almost everything. Pasta, lasagna. So I've got these slices. You can tell that this isn't a primo mushroom, but it's not bad yet. And I don't want to throw it out, but I'm probably not gonna eat mushrooms for the next couple of days. So I'm just going to slice this up, place it on this baking tray, and then I'm going to freeze it until it's solid. And then I can put it into whatever container that I want. Now, the reason that you do this, the reason that you're going to freeze it separately, got a kind of a wrinkly bell pepper too. This also works for bell peppers. Bring in a larger knife. This also works for bell peppers. The reason that we do this, the reason that we slice this, and the reason that we freeze them separately, not touching, is so that way we have really, really easy access to them, because the moisture on the vegetables whenever they're frozen means they're gonna stick together, and you don't want that. It's gonna make it much more difficult to use in the future. So this way we're making it so convenient, just like the people in the grocery store do. They make it really, really convenient for you because you can just reach your hand into that bag of corn or that bag of broccoli and it's ready to go. This is the same principle. We're using not using the exact same technique, but we're using a similar technique. So that way whenever we put these in I store mine in a mason jar or in that Snapware container like you've seen previously. Whenever I'm cooking, I can reach in, grab exactly how much I need, and leave the rest frozen. I don't have to defrost the entire bunch, figure out what I need, and then refreeze. This saves me time, this saves me a lot of energy, and also make sure that we're not constantly freezing and unfreezing the food. Because if we were constantly freezing and unfreezing our food, it'll go bad a lot quicker too. So we freeze it once, and we don't have to use it until we are ready. So I'm just arranging my baking sheet right now. You can do this with almost any sort of vegetable too, which is really awesome. Or fruits. If you have like a whole bunch of strawberries you're not gonna be able to eat right away, throw them in the freezer. That way you can throw them in your smoothies whenever you want. This works for bananas. This works for broccoli, cauliflower, corn, beans. You can really do this with almost anything. All right. So I don't know if you can see my tray. Ta-da! So I'm just gonna pop this into the freezer, wait till it's frozen solid. Most of the time I wait overnight, but 1 to 2 hours. Then put it all into an individual little jar and you'll be ready to cook. Some fruits and vegetables are more conducive to be frozen differently. We're gonna go over that soon, but I also wanna talk about bread because I also freeze my bread. I keep a large pillowcase inside of my freezer and I will cut a loaf of bread in half, just like this, and I will throw it in the freezer. It stays fresh for about 2 months like this, so just make sure that you eat it within that time frame and it'll be really good. The things that don't freeze very well, that are fruits and vegetables, are things that are gonna have a lot higher water content. So things like tomatoes, don't freeze very well going straight into the freezer. So if you have some tomatoes that are about to go bad, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna roast these or blend them before you put them in the freezer. I have a really great recipe for marinara on my blog. I will link that down below, but basically I cut these things in half and I put them on a baking sheet. Drizzle olive oil, do some garlic, salt, pepper, sometimes a pinch of sugar. Throw them into the oven, give them a good roast. Then I just take all that goodness, oh, it's so good. Put it into a blender, blend it, then I'll store it in a mason jar. And you'll wanna leave, see this jar does not have shoulders. This jar has shoulders. You don't really want to freeze in these jars. I mean, you can, but make sure that you only fill it to 2 to 3 inches before the shoulder because liquid expands when it's frozen. So if you have it in a jar like this, it's much more likely to break than if you store it in a jar like this. So then you're gonna want to put your pasta sauce to about right there and you can put it in the freezer. And that way you can save it through the winter. You can have it on hand at any time. I also do this with beans. And this way, whenever you're in a rush and you come home from work and you're like, what am I gonna make for dinner? You can just take this jar out. I place it into my sink with cold water, defrost in like 30 minutes. It's so easy and I always have fresh pasta sauce on hand. And I don't have to go get the store-bought stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with store-bought stuff, I don't particularly like the way it tastes, and also there's typically a lot of hidden extra sugar. So this way I can really control the exact ingredients inside what I'm eating. Another thing that you can't freeze very well are avocados. So avocados, I have frozen these many times, but the way you do it is you take it, you mash it, and you're gonna wanna add some sort of acid to keep it from browning, like lemon juice or lime juice. Mash it up, and you can also put it in a little mason jar, put it in the freezer, and it'll be good to go. You can have avocados fresh all year round. It's really simple. Obviously, this means that it's going to be good for guacamole or good as a spread, but you're not gonna wanna freeze it solid. At least I haven't had very much luck with that. Let me know if you have. All right, so those are kind of my basic tips for freezing your food and for storing your food to help you prevent food waste this holiday season. I would love to hear about some of the tips and tricks that you have for keeping your food fresh, so let me know in the comment section. Also, make sure to check this blog post out. And if you liked this, if you could give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you want to be notified when new videos come out. I'm really excited to have worked on this post with Love Food, Hate Waste, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully working with them in the future. Thanks so much.